I wanted to share some surf tips if you're a newbie, a total beginner, okay? So if you're surfing this already, this isn't gonna help you as much. But I know there's a lot of people who read our blogs and watch our YouTube videos and like think, wow, it'd be so great to learn how to surf. But there's some really key factors to know when you're gonna learn how to surf. And we're here at San Alejo for the week. This is our home break when we used to live in San Diego. It's up in Cardiff or Encinitas. And for us, we love this break. It's a great break, and I'm gonna tell you why. But when we were here this week, because it's spring break, I noticed there were a lot of beginners, and I felt so bad for them because they're in the wrong position. I felt like they were gonna get hurt, and they're probably really frustrated, and there's some key things that could have helped them in this case. So if you notice how the wave breaks, it tends to break in the middle and then peels out to the outside. This next wave that's breaking is really good. Where all those people are standing up, that's where you want to catch the wave. Well, the problem is, like in a case like today, it's really crowded. Look at how many people are bunched together. There's a reason they're all bunched together and not sitting on the sides, because the wave only breaks right there. It only breaks right there because it's a reef break here. So where the water is a little shallower is where it's going to start breaking, and then it'll peel out to the sides. Well, if you're a newbie, you don't want to sit there, because the people who have more experience are going to want that wave, and then you're going to be in their way, and you're going to feel stressed out and frustrated, and they'll yell at you if you're cutting them off. The general rule is the person closest to the peak, that's first up on their feet, gets the wave, and typically two people. One person will go left, one person goes right. If I'm facing the shoreline and I'm sitting catching the wave, this way would be going left, this way is going right, even though when you're looking it would be the invert. So it's really important, if you were learning to surf, that really you don't want to learn in a place like this at a reef break when it's crowded. Now, later today when the wind picks up and the waves aren't quite as good, is a great time for beginners to come out here and practice their timing. Keep in mind though, when it gets more windy, the wave breaks faster. You really want to be up on your feet before the wave turns white. So this person here, once they're up, they're going to ride it to the side. These guys are going left. So another thing is, for a beginner, they tend to sit a little bit more shallow. Well, the stressful thing there is when every so often a big set comes through. If you're in the shallow part, you might be right where that person's catching the wave and dropping down, or where they're riding to. And so beginners, I'm gonna stand this way. Let's pretend I'm Let's pretend I'm surfing, and I'm up on my feet, and I'm gonna go left. As I'm surfing, if you're sitting in front of me, you're gonna feel like I hit you, and you don't want to swim right in front of me because I can gain speed really fast. So if you are sitting on the inside and somebody catches a wave, unfortunately you want to go behind them where the wave is turning white, which means, you know, you might get tossed around more. That's why it's kind of important when you're first learning to just find a beach break where it's more spread out and you don't have to worry about that as much. You also want to make sure you're on a smaller day. Like today is a good sized day to learn, but it's about 2 to 3 foot today. But you wouldn't want to surf here on a bigger day. At least in San Diego, if it says 3 to 4 foot, you're starting to get some pretty big swells. You want to try to learn on a 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 foot day. I think that pretty much covers the big things. So if you were here on a day like today, what would you do? Well, you probably want to sit over to the side like these groups of people are doing and not have to worry. You might not get as many waves. It might take longer for a wave to come through, but at least you're not going to get in anybody's way and you're not going to get hurt. The other thing to remember is, on a beach break, at least the sand is soft. Try not to catch the wave if it's really shallow. Make sure you're not trying to surf on a low tide, like the tide's barely coming up right now. So make sure you're not trying to surf in a spot where it's only thigh deep, because if you fall, you're going to hit your head, and that's dangerous. At least a sand break, if you hit the floor softer, you don't want to hit the reef for sure. So make sure it's a bigger tide. Like for here in San Diego, a lot of the beach breaks, you need to have like a 4 foot tide. Okay, try not, make sure you don't go out on a 3 foot tide if you're just learning how to surf, because when you fall, you're going to hit the floor. Okay, I hope that helped you. Let me know if you have any questions about surfing. Make sure to check out our best surf bikini and our best surf wetsuit vlogs, because having the right wetsuit also makes such a difference. Now here in San Diego, like, I get cold really fast. This Patagonia, man, this has been my go-to for years. It's it's a really thick wetsuit, but I need it. Like right now we're at the beginning of April and it's still like 60 degrees, it's freezing. So make sure you get a good wetsuit, it'll make all the difference. All right, I hope those tips at the beach really helped you to kind of get an idea of when you go out to surf, or some tips so that you're a little bit more successful when you're learning how to surf. Learning to surf is so hard, but it's really rewarding. I know for a lot of people, it might take you 6 months to learn how to surf, but if you stick with it, it's totally worth it. The stoke factor is just incredible. And so to help you along, I brought you into my gym. So one of the big things is having strength and power in the right muscles for surfing. So, it's great if you can run a lot and you can do squats and stuff, but like surfing is really sport specific. And so I created this Fit to Surf program. It is so cheap. It's only $7. And in it, I take you through exactly the exercises you need to get stronger, to help you with your surfing, with your pop-up, and most importantly, with your recovery. Because the worst part is like when you start surfing a lot, you got to get a lot of repetitions in. Well, you're going to end up with overtraining and injuries. So I kind of nurture you through that. You can find the link for that on our website. You can find it if you're watching YouTube in the description, but if you're on our blog, check the blog that you're reading. It probably has the link for Fit to Surf there. And the last thing is, when you do that, I also encourage you to take my daughter Gabby's Flow State Warrior course. It's really amazing because flow state is really why we want to surf. That's why we want to learn how to surf, because you get in that zone and all that matters is that feeling on the wave, and everything else. You forget about your to-do list. You forget about your relationships that you're having trouble with, whatever you have to. You forget about your kids at home who are whining. I know for me, I love surfing because it was just an escape all for me, and I became so addicted to flow state. So also check out Gabby's Flow State Warriors program. It's really cool when you start surfing more and you get out in the ocean. It's not always about just the biggest wave or the longest ride. While that is really cool, it's really about connecting with yourself, raising your consciousness, becoming more mindful of who you are. We also have our Making Mindfulness Fun website. That's a separate website that you can find some cool inspiration and meditations there. But overall, I hope this video really helped you. Don't forget to check out our Best Women's Wetsuit blog, because that Patagonia that I surf in is so important. I cannot surf San Diego water without it. And, if you get lucky and you get to go surf in Hawaii, like we do sometimes, we haven't in a while, but we used to go to Hawaii all the time. I personally love the carved bikini. There are some really cute bikinis in that Best Surf Bikini blog, but I personally love the carved bikinis. I get compliments on it all the time when I'm at the beach. Okay, I think you're ready to go surf. Enjoy those tips, and always reach out to us if you have any questions.